Welcome to On Texas Football. It's time for lunch with the coach, Coach Bob Shipley, Coach Bryan Erwin. I'm Bobby Burton. Guys, Longhorns take it to Sam Houston State 55-0. It's time for lunch with the coach, brought to you by Laura Baker, realtor for Keller Williams and the Andy Allen team. Guys, I've got to ask you, let's just start at the very beginning, and that's Arch Manning and the offense. They are the story of Saturday's game. And I'll get each of your thoughts on that. Bryan, your thoughts on the offense and how Arch played, et cetera.
Yeah, just really pleased with the way the offense played. Arch, got back to what we thought he could do. Is 18 of 21. The ball was coming out on time, coming out tight and crisp. I feel like his timing was there. He was jazzed up also mentally, and we talked about that a lot the last few weeks. That's who he is, and he's got to play that way. He's got mud in his neck, and he's got to play like that. I don't care if his mama gets mad at him. He needs to. I read something a little earlier that his mom got mad at him for that little taunt and everything. But don't worry about mom, March. Just do your thing, and so that's what we've got to have out of him. And just I thought the balance we had was really good between the run and the pass, the explosives. We haven't had many chunk plays this year, and we had a ton of chunk plays. And so that was great to see. Running game was really solid. I think we had over 600 yards, 601 total offense. So the chunk plays, Arch on time, Arch's feet, getting Wingo going, getting him lathered up, juiced up here before we start SEC play, I thought was big. What do you think, Bob?
Well, I thought the same thing. I kept saying this during the Watch With Us podcast during the game. This is just what the doctor ordered. Yeah. I mean, it's just what the week before, Arch was having a hard time. Have a hard time, I think, throwing against air routes on air. It just seemed like it was just so off. And it's Sam Houston. Yeah, we knew that coming in. We knew they weren't ranked in the top 100 in any category defensively. We knew that this was going to happen. But the way that it happened was, I think, exactly what Arch needed, exactly what our receivers needed. We were 7 of 11 on the third down. We scored 9 straight possessions. I mean, that hasn't happened to us, in an awful long time. Our running backs looked well. Simon is going to be a guy that has got a great future in front of him. I mean, you look at their average per carry. It was just a great game. I felt the offensive line, it's becoming obvious that they are who they are. They're not going to be a motor grader type old Nebraska offensive line that comes off with flat backs and moves the line of scrimmage 5 yards. I mean, that's just not going to be who they are. They will improve, and they have improved. But we're going to have to rely also on great running back play and vision and cuts, reading blocks, being patient, some of those things. And, of course, Arch's legs add another dimension that we're going to need because we're not where we were last year with the offensive line. But I just thought, to see our receivers coming in, great to see the young receivers come in and play. And I think it's exactly what we needed. I loved Arch's enthusiasm. I didn't know if we'd see that again because he is a humble person. And so most guys, like that won't show swagger because they don't want to bring attention to themselves, and they want to feel like they've earned it, But I thought it was awesome. I was yelling, you tell them, Arch, I just love seeing that fire back in him, So whatever he did this week, whoever counseled him, talked to him, whatever, keep doing it. Keep doing it because that's Arch we want to see.
Hey, I thought it was interesting. Rod Babers on Second Watch with Rod called it a get-right game for Texas. And I think that was an apt description. Bryan, I want to go back to you about Arch real quick. He did not – he had a couple of misfires early that He missed Parker Livingston over the middle on the very first throw. He threw low, but DeAndre Moore bailed him out on that third down of the first drive. And then Jalen McCutcheon caught a ball underneath. And I think other players helped him get going. And then once he got going, it was like a snowball rolling downhill because, to your point, Bryan, you mentioned this earlier, you didn't see the mechanical issues that were just all over the place. I mean, you didn't even know which mechanical issue to start with. And maybe that's because he just had to get going again and let it rip. I mean, is that kind of where you come out on it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if it was game day on Saturday or I was watching somebody, and I'm not sure which commentator talked about it, but they talked about how he needed some teammates to step up around him. It's not all on Arch. He needs his offensive line that Bob referred to a while ago. We need receivers. We need running. We need guys to step up, make plays around him. And if it's a pass that's a little bit off, hey, make the catch. Come down with it. Let's get a completion. Let's get some positive yards out of it. So I thought his teammates stepped up. And that's what we've got to have. This is ultimate team sport. And the quarterback's going to get the majority of the praise. The quarterback's going to get the majority of the criticism, just like the head coach is. But this is the ultimate team game, the ultimate team sport. And we've got to have his guys stepping up around him and making plays. And that's what they did.
I want to talk a little bit about the defense next. But first, I want to tell you guys about our sponsor each and every week for Lunch with the Coach. She's been a sponsor now for 3 years of On Texas Football. She is your Austin real estate expert, knows it like the back of her hand. Laura Baker, 512-784-0505. You're moving to, from, or within the Austin area and need a expert realtor, make sure you reach out to Laura at AndyAllenTeam.com. She's part of the Keller Williams Realty Group and the Andy Allen team. Again, 512-784-0505. Guys, defense. Bob, I want to start with you here. Your thoughts on allowing 113 yards. And, guys, I don't know if y'all saw this. 42 some odd players played on defense. Unbelievable a number of players, and still held them to 113 yards. And Bob, they were playing their starting quarterback in the fourth quarter, the final drive.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about this defense is they're what every coach hopes to have, and that is they play at their level no matter who they bring it every game, every snap. They are the real deal. 5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. Like I said, 113 total yards, 5 straight 3 and outs for the defense. I mean, it's just Jelani McDonald, what a freak he is. I mean, it's just unbelievable. We've got to cut down on penalties overall. I think we had 9 penalties. We're averaging 8 a game, but I think I think we're in a really good place, and I love the versatility of our defense. I mean, we're just playing with a lot of confidence right now in defense, as they should, because they're just loaded with great football players.
Yeah. What did you see out of defense?
Yeah, just flying around, fast, physical, edge players. It's a new guy every single time. I mean, whether it's Spence, whether it's Colin Simmons, whether it's, we just got a ton of talent, ton of team speed, ton of physicality. We made a comment about Jelani McDonald right there before the half, going up and getting that interception. And I had a nice text for you there, I think, at that time regarding Jelani McDonald. He's quickly becoming my favorite guy, and I've got a great adjective for him. But anyway, that guy jumped out of the stadium to go get that ball. And then on TV they said something. He had like a 50-inch vertical. So that was beautiful to see. I think also what I like is that we haven't shown anything. I mean, we just lined up and just rushed 4. Played a little 5.5 in the box, sometimes 6 in the box versus these spread teams. Just hadn't shown a ton. Just played a lot of base defense, played a lot of kids. And it was good. Overall as a team, I think I read where we played close to 75 players throughout the night. So it's great to see. We've been basic on defense. We know we've got more there in the arsenal that's coming. And now it's calm before the storm. And here we are. It's calm before the storm, and now it starts, and getting this thing ready for Florida in a couple weeks.
Hey, how about this, Bobby? How awesome was it that Sark's son made the play that he made?
Hey, y'all both had sons that played for y'all. Did you not? I mean, is that as a coach? How was that make you? I see you got a grin on right now, Bob. Just thinking about it.
I tell you what, I felt the energy coming from Sark when they showed his picture and that smile on his face. I mean, what a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, for not only to be in the game, but to get a tackle for a loss like that.
Yeah, I mean, what a blessing for him.
Gosh, you know, I was so happy for him.
That's good stuff. Hey, guys, the other thing I was going to mention on defense, Texas has got two quarterbacks coming up in Lagway and Mateer who can tuck it and run. It looked like there were some lanes opening up in pass protection for Sam Houston State. They didn't necessarily take advantage of it like a Mateer or a Lagway might. Does that give y'all any cause for concern, or do you think that Pete Kwiatkowski manages that whenever they're playing those types of quarterbacks a little bit differently? Any thoughts on that? And did you see anything? Like, it just felt like the gaps in the middle were there if a quarterback wanted to take off and run. Obviously, Sam Houston State wasn't going to get very far, but your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think our approach would be a little bit different. We weren't afraid of that guy's legs, and so I think our approach and how we rush from the inside, and even the edge rushers, you can only go so far. You know, once you get to the depth of the quarterback, you can't just keep climbing. Once you get to the depth of the quarterback, you got to shut it down, spin back inside, but you can't continue to flying up the field. You know, one thing we always talked about, you get to the depth of that quarterback, now it's time to set that ice pick and go back underneath. So I think our approach will be different, and we'll be cognizant of that. And then also we'll probably have a spy in there as well. If it's a 3-man rush, then we'll have a spy hanging around waiting for that quarterback to leak out. If it's a 4-man pass rush, then we'll change our approach with our defensive tackles.
Yeah, I agree with Bryan on that. I did see, as Bryan mentioned, containment was an issue. It was a little bit tough from watching on TV. It was a little, they're zoomed in on the quarterback, so it's really kind of hard to tell why we lost containment. But it probably was exactly what Bryan was saying. Our defensive ends, our edge guys were getting so far upfield, and that's something that I'm sure will be corrected. But I agree, we were base. We'll have a plan for those guys to contain them. And I think if PK and that defensive staff has showed us anything, they know how to game plan. To take away what the other team does well. So I think we'll have good plans.
Bryan, let's go to special teams, Coach Shipley and Coach Erwin. Bryan, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the punt return game, just special teams in general right now. It seems like we had some really highs from Ryan Niblett and then a little wobble there at the end. What did you think overall?
I think overall he's really improving. I think he's a threat. He's receiving and fielding the ball really well. He's got wheels. He can fly. He's elusive. He's tough. He looks like he's got a lot of courage, and that's what I really didn't know about him. I knew he was athletic and could run. I didn't know he had that much courage. But I also knew that going into last spring or this spring, he played a lot of defense. And so they were working him on the defensive side of the ball, which told me, hey, that guy's he's got a little defensive mentality about him. So I can see that in the return game. So it's encouraging to see him back there. I think he's got the courage to do it. He's got the athletic ability to do it. He fields the punts nicely. I'm confident in him. He's going to bust one here pretty soon. So I like the return game there. Shipley knocking everything through, extra points, field goals. I think he was 100% there. And that's what we've got to have. We got to have that guy that's certainly reliable, making the field goals that we need to make, and then knocking extra points through. Of course, punting. We weren't very active in the punt game the other night.
They scored 9 straight times. Coaches like that, don't they?
Exactly. But
Hey,
no,
Bob,
feel good about them.
gotcha. Bob, do you have anything to add on special teams?
Not much other than, it's obvious Sam Houston didn't even work on kickoff return this week. They weren't going to return one no matter what. They should let it. I mean, they're walking off the field right when it's kicked, But I do think that Niblett is certainly more of a threat than I thought he was going to be, and he is making progress and he's getting better. One thing I'd like to see is, though, I'd like to see Dalen McCutcheon have an opportunity. I think he's got an extra gear, maybe, that Ryan doesn't have. Bryan hasn't done anything, in the last few games to pull him out or anything. But did McCutcheon fair catch a punt?
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen him have a chance to return one, just to see what he can do, because he's got another gear now.
Yeah. Hey, Bryan and Coach, I'm thinking about this game and trying to kind of encapsulate it. And we did that at the outset. But are there any other lasting memories you're going to have from this game? And is it like the one thing I keep coming back to is, and Bryan, you and I had this conversation offline, is Arch Manning really that guy? Did we make all this up in our heads from last year? Because it was so different, his first 3 games this year from what we saw last year. I think that's going to be my memory of this game, that lasting imprint, is that, yeah, he really is that kind of talent. I don't know if he's always going to be that good, because the level of play, competition. But I think that's my lasting memory of this game. You agree with that?
I do. I think every game in and of itself is going to be its own game, its own performance, and we'll critique those as they come. So I think this game is a game you put behind you. You take all the positives and we take the goodwill and the good feelings that we have from it. We got a little momentum off of it, but I promise you this game's pretty much behind our guys by now, and we're moving on, trying to get healed up, getting ready for the off week, try to improve, find out who we are, what we do best, strengths, weaknesses, and then start getting the game plan for Florida, towards the end of the week, and just getting ready for this gauntlet. Now it's fixed to be a gauntlet. And every single week's going to present its own challenge. And Florida's got a really good football team. They're struggling, but they've got a really good football team, and we know we've got many more teams down the road to play. But Arch has just got to bring it. His teammates have got to bring it each and every week, because it's going to be a dogfight week in and week out. So, yeah, we've got confidence in Arch because of this. We saw some of the things that he used to do in his quick release and his stride foot getting on the ground and not overstriding, and the ball coming out on time, his emotions and playing with that swagger, and his teammates feed off of that. That's who he is. That's what we've got to have, and that's the guy we need every Saturday. And when he's not at his best, and he's not going to be at his best every Saturday, but when he's not at his best, we need the running game to pick him up. We need receivers to make more plays. We need the defense to play even better. We need the special teams to play even better. So it's a team sport. It's the ultimate team sport. It's not all on Arch, but he's certainly a guy that we can win this thing with.
Helps straw that stirs the drink. Bob, any lasting impressions for you?
Yeah, I think I really hope. I mean, we're all disappointed in the offense, the first 3 weeks, but I really hope that we can look back at this and say that we saw Arch grow up into a college football player on that night. Granted, the competition wasn't great, but he got his feet under him. He got his legs under him now. He's going to have more confidence. And I really am hoping that we can look back at the end of the season and go, that Sam Houston game, that was a turning point. That's when Arch got his mojo back. And no, it's not going to be easy, but I think as we've mentioned many times, his legs and the ability of him to move the ball with his legs is something that we have to take advantage of. And it's something that's definitely going to, gonna affect defensive coordinators as they're trying to game plan, because what are you going to take away? So yeah, I think I just what am I going to remember about this game? Jelani McDonald. That's what I'm going to remember about this game. It was what was it? Rocky Balboa's trainer said it was a ting of beauty.
That's awesome. You talk about Arch, that's a red zone solution. 2 rushing touchdowns in the red zone on Saturday night as well. All right. That's going to do it for this week's Lunch with the Coach. Coach Bob Shipley, Coach Bryan Erwin. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you also to our sponsor, Laura Baker of Austin, a realtor of Keller Williams. Again, that number is 512-784-0505, or reach out to her, Laura, at AndyAllenTeam.com. For Coach Shipley, Coach Erwin, myself, Bobby Burton, and our producer, Matt Hutchinson, thank you all for watching. We'll be back with more from Steve Sarkisian later today. He goes to the mic at around 11:30. CJ and Jeff will be there. Hook 'em horns, guys.